All right, so this is our Week 5 and Week 6 preview. And week 5 recap and Week 6 preview. So this is going to be a little quick because we already had a big talk on the Patriots. But we're still going to try to get it. We're still going to try to go through it. And we're not going to talk about the Saints-Patriots game really at all because we talked about basically...
I'll go into a little...
Yeah, we're just going to give it a basic recap. And then we talked a lot more about the general state of the Patriots in another video. Mm-hmm. So I'd go watch that because I don't know, why not, right?
It's a good video.
Yeah, it's a banger video. You should watch it. It's like the best video of all time.
So
okay.
Thursday night football, the Bears and the Commanders.
Well, it was a cool game, 40-20. I think that Justin Fields is showing the hype that he was given this year, but he's definitely. I still am not sure if he's the franchise QB in Chicago.
I agree, and it was their first win in like 11 months, so it was very needed.
DJ Moore's a freaking beast.
Yep.
Like he's always been good, but his stats have honestly been kind of lackluster in Carolina. But this year he's like what, second receiving yards, second in receptions.
He's up there.
He's really up there. He's showing that he can easily be a top 10, top 5 wide receiver if given the options. Because I mean, he has a terrible quarterback, and he's still figuring out to get open. I mean, think about how much better he'd be doing if Justin Fields could read plays.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Jaguars, Bills. You want to talk about this one?
London game. Jacksonville had the advantage because they were over there last week too, so they didn't have to travel. Well, Buffalo had to travel all the way across the pond to get over there, so definitely jet lag was in favor of the Jaguars. So Trevor Lawrence got it done. And Buffalo just didn't have it enough, but it was overall a pretty good game.
One thing I want to talk about, though, is that the players were complaining how hard the surface was. I've done some research, and to reduce further injuries, like turf has I think a 60% increase in injuries, like knee injuries on the field. Grass just helps that much more. I think that obviously in London they're playing soccer, they're gonna have turf. But I think that in America, we really shouldn't have any turf stadiums. Turf causes so much more injuries and so much harder on the players' knees because it's not.
I agree, and I think the New York Jets fan base would agree as well.
Yeah, I think so. Okay. So you want to talk about Saints Patriots?
Yeah, it was just very one-sided. That's about all you can say. Mac Jones looked terrible. The offense looked completely lifeless. Without Judon or Gonzalez defensively, they didn't look great either, but the turnovers on offense really cost them.
So I wanted to talk about Colts-Titans. So the Colts came away with this one. Anthony Richardson is out for a couple weeks. He's been playing pretty well, but obviously he is very injury prone. It's kind of scary. He's gotten injured, 2 different times already this season? Week 6?
Yeah.
I don't know. He plays football so haphazardly. At some point, he's going to get a season, maybe a career-ending injury. Like, think about the last QB that played like this had this level of, not this level of success, but Cam Newton. Cam Newton was he really played, not the same level, but he played very haphazardly and put his body on the line, got injured, and was never the same player again.
I mean, he's also a rookie, so it's kind of early to judge in his career. But I know the last thing the Colts fan base wants is having their franchise quarterback retire early because of nagging injuries.
And another thing I don't get is so basically, Jonathan Taylor just got paid 3-year, $42 million contract, but it doesn't make any sense because their running back 2, Zach Moss, is he's a beast. This game he had, I think, 160 yards, 2 touchdowns on 20 carries. He's honestly amazing. Why are they paying him that money? Just let Jonathan Taylor walk. They really don't need him, and they're spending so much of their cap space when they could put it towards improving their offense, like re-signing Michael Pittman if he's good, or drafting a wide receiver.
Yeah, I agree. It's just Jim Irsay didn't want to go in that direction.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll talk about the Ravens Steelers. So this one is kind of interesting. Matt Canada right now is I think last in. His offense is last in touchdown rate.
Yards per game
and yards per not play yards per turnover
completion.
No, I'm talking about why am I blanking on the word right now? When you get 4 downs and you punt it. like yards per, not like turnover, yards per.
Oh yeah, like conversion rate of your drive, like not
drive. That's what it was. Yeah, drive, yards per drive. But somehow he's getting it done. Honestly, Steelers not looking great this year, but their defense is just a beast, and they shut down Lamar.
Mm-hmm. Mike Tomlin, always, very defensive head coach, similar to Belichick, and always seems to find a way to get that team to about 500 at the very least.
Which is kind of weird because I feel like somehow the team is first winning the division, but also I feel like he's not the healthiest for Steelers because he's never going to make the team amazing. They're never going to be bad, but they're never going to be elite the way he drafts. Like, he drafts them to be mediocre. That's what I
don't know. I think George Pickens was a good pick.
No, definitely.
Kenny Pickett, I think, has a lot of upside. He's just not showing himself to be elite, so that's up for debate.
Okay.
He's going into this year, you could say that he has the potential for some upside. It was unknown, and that's what you get. But when you look at the way he's put together the teams throughout the years, he's won 2 Super Bowls, so.
Okay. You want to talk about this one? Lions-Panthers.
Yeah, Detroit has just shown throughout the year that they're a strong team, that they believe this is their division. They've taken over. MCDC has done a really great job of leading that group. Jared Goff had a great weekend. He looks like an elite quarterback after that performance. 42-24. So I was very excited about it.
I just wanted to add, first of all, Laporta is emerging as a real tight end one. But also, they did this all with Amon-Ra St. Brown out.
Yep.
And honestly, one thing I want to talk about is, for all the hate Bryce Young has been getting, sure, he threw 2 picks in the first quarter, but after that, even though it was in kind of garbage time, he did throw 3 touchdowns. And he showed a lot of improvement, even in this just game. And I think that he is not a bust. I think he is a very, I don't want to say immature, because that's not the right word for it, but I think he's a prospect that doesn't see stuff that maybe like someone like C.J. Stroud would. He hasn't matured into an NFL level quarterback yet. And I think that this is a good sign that he might be getting there.
Yeah, it's way too early to call him a bust, and he also doesn't have enough talent around him to be fairly judged.
Oh, definitely. Okay. So you want to talk about Dolphins Giants?
Yeah, Miami, nice bounce back win after the struggles that they had in Buffalo last week. Giants have been, kind of a letdown, very underwhelming. Daniel Jones and the way that he's performed this year.
It's the O-line, though.
Yeah, the offensive line has not done him any favors either. But when you get a guy like Darren Waller to add to your offense, along with the run game with Saquon Barkley, you would think that you'd like to convert more on that. I'm sorry, he's been pressured a lot, and you got to give him that. But at the same time, I've watched, one of the best top 5 probably tight ends in the game, and he just doesn't get that much production out of him, and I've seen him overthrow him. So,
what do you think about A-King becoming the running back 1?
He's hurt now.
No, I know, but he is there. They said he's their running back for the foreseeable future.
Well, I think with Mike McDaniel, he just throws so many different looks at teams, which is what is part of what makes the.
That was a squeaky toy. I actually touched it with my foot. Here, it's like a little. It's like a raccoon. Yeah, see, Drew? It's like a squeaky toy. I accidentally just touched it with my foot. Fine.
That makes the Dolphins. The Dolphins' offense dynamic because they can throw so many different looks at teams, and that's part of the reason they have success. Raheem Mostert, one of the fastest players in the NFL, like everybody on their roster is some of the fastest. So,
but you act like this is that serious of a podcast. It's fun. Squeaky toy is fun. But so I'll talk about the Texans, Falcons, and the Bengals, Cardinals. Texans, Falcons. C.J. Stroud he didn't let us down, but he showed that he's definitely human because he's been on a kind of a tear lately. And he didn't have a bad game per se, just a little bit of a disappointing one. And I'm also kind of interested in Desmond Ridder because he is really showing a lot of high highs and a lot of low lows. One thing that's pissing me off, Kyle Pitts. Sure, he had a decent game this week, but how is Jonnu Smith getting more usage? It's a joke. Kyle Pitts was drafted as one of the top tight ends, and he had such an amazing rookie season. But he's just showing he can't be trusted to produce.
I agree.
And then Bengals Cardinals. This one was an interesting one. Jamar Chase went on a tear, and especially with T. Higgins out. And Joe Burrow showed some flashes of what he did before. He had He had 3 touchdowns
Something like that.
I think Joe Mixon had one rushing.
Really good game.
I don't think he had any interceptions. I don't think so. I know he had a really good game, and it seemed like the calf wasn't bothering him. Hopefully, it's maybe healed a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the Bengals can still make the playoffs.
Absolutely.
And one thing I wanted to talk about is Josh Dobbs. Sure, he's been great for the last few weeks, but he showed that he is not a solid game manager. Like, he can't be completely trusted. I mean, sure, he threw 2 picks this week, which isn't weird. Sure, he had a 6-0 touchdown to interception rate for this, but now he threw 2 touchdowns, but he also threw 2 interceptions. There's some clear showing that he is not the most reliable passer. He's good on his feet, though.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Rams. Eagles come away with a victory again. Them and the 49ers remain the 2 only undefeated teams left in the league. Just the brotherly shovel, as they like to call it, working again for them. Jalen Hurts leading the charge with the offensive line. It's worked out well for them. I think they're a legit team. I think the Niners are better. I think that the Eagles are probably the second best team in the NFL. But overall strong team. Rams just got back Cooper Kupp coming off of his injury, and they also had a really nice run from Puka Nacua during that time that Kupp was out. So they've been able to develop their receiving core, but I still think with Sean McVay, Matt Stafford, they'll be able to make some noise and potentially contend for a wild card spot. They're just not the same strong team that they were 2 years ago when they won the Super Bowl.
Honestly, I stand by this. I think Kupp to Nacua to Atwell is one of the strongest receiving cores in the league. Honestly, Nacua is almost a wide receiver 1. Kupp is obviously elite level.
Yeah.
And Tutu is a really good deep threat. I think they're really strong. And, okay. What did you think about Chiefs Vikings? This one was an interesting one.
I know what you're going to say about it.
We're bad refs. Okay.
I mean, Minnesota's just not that good of a team. Now they have Justin Jefferson going on IR, and teams are saying that Kirk Cousins is now on the trading block. So you got that going on. It just seems like they're going nowhere fast. They won't be back in the playoffs in all likelihood. So for Kansas City, after you had a game against Zach Wilson, a game against Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson, to his credit, played really well, but now this is back-to-back games where the Chiefs, where you've had 1 score difference, where they're used to destroying teams by 21 points or something. So I think for Kansas City, it just shows that they're still kind of finding their way this season, and they were struggling a little bit last year to put up the same numbers without Tyreek Hill, and they figured it out then. They'll figure it out again. I don't question that. I think Andy Reid's a great coach. Obviously, you got Mahomes, you got Kelsey. Never count them out.
So what did you think about so Jets Broncos? Definitely interesting.
That was back and forth.
Yeah, honestly, Zach Wilson, he threw no touchdowns, interception. He did throw if you watch the game, he threw better than what he'd done before, but still, it wasn't great. Breece Hall, yeah, he's obviously been amazing, but he just hasn't been able to get the usage. But he really shined this game, and I think that the Jets, they're not going to be contenders this year. But I think if they can either get Aaron Rodgers back or Zach Wilson can figure stuff out, I think they can be a playoff contender in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Their defense is just amazing. Sauce isn't as good as he was last year, though.
I don't think the Jets are making the playoffs.
No, definitely not. It's too late now. But Cowboys 49ers, this one was interesting. What was supposed to be the 1-2 team, the 1-2 teams in the NFL, the Cowboys just got blown out of the water. Brock Purdy's showing that he's almost elite.
Mm-hmm. This question was floated on ESPN the other day with Dan Orlovsky and Rex Ryan. And Dan Orlovsky was saying that he thinks Mac Jones would be doing the same things as Brock Purdy if he was on the 49ers.
Absolutely not. Brock Purdy, honestly. Also, without Brock Purdy, the 49ers would be on the chopping block for one of the worst draft busts in history with Trey Lance. But I think if you watch his games, he has so much more vision and awareness and just, honestly, mechanical throwing skills better too. It's not on par with Aaron Rodgers, Josh Allen, or Mahomes. but it's still pretty solid. He's great. Cowboys, just Dak honestly is not the QB that people have said he is. He's not doing great this year.
Yeah, I'm not surprised, honestly. I think San Francisco made a statement this week that they're the best team in the NFL until further notice.
Issue is so many of the contracts are running out that they can maybe push themselves into cap hell, but they have to win a Super Bowl this year, next year.
Yeah, I agree. This is their window.
Raiders, Packers. You want to talk about it?
I was expecting that Jordan Love would lead them to victory. I just don't think the Raiders have a very good defense this year. And I was thinking that Green Bay was going to steamroll them offensively. Excuse me. I'm not surprised that the Raiders scored 17. I am surprised that the Packers only scored 13. I would have expected to see them around 30 or something like that.
Yeah. Honestly, that Jimmy Garoppolo trade is looking real good now. He just hasn't played well at all. It's really showing the only reason he even played decently in the first place is because he was on such a stacked team.
Yeah, and he also got to learn from Tom Brady, which helps.
That's true. But he's just not that talented of a QB. He's like a solid backup, but that's about it, personally. I don't feel like he's close to the bottom of the top 32 QBs. I think it could be argued that he could be a backup on like the Eagles or something like that. Okay, let's talk. Do you want to talk about Week 6?
Yeah, I think Kansas City, they've had a couple of close games in recent weeks, and this is going to be a game that they dominate at home against Denver. Big rivalry there. Sean Payton, Russell Wilson really struggling to get things going. And for Kansas City, I think they're going to dominate them. But for Denver, this is a really tough situation. You have this big trade you made last offseason to go get Russell Wilson.
And then Sean McVay.
And now
Sean Payton this year.
Yeah, you got Sean Payton to replace Nathaniel Hackett, and they're having a lot of the same problems. So there's going to be some tough decisions that need to be made during the offseason.
Okay, Ravens-Titans. Let's just quick recap. Honestly, I think, who do you think's winning it? I'm guessing Ravens.
I think so too, but Tennessee, as they showed against the Bengals a week or two ago, that they can cause some problems.
Yeah, King Henry and D-Hop.
They can cause some upsets. So Mike Vrabel is a great coach. So is Harbaugh. I just, I could see the upset happening. There was an upset back in 2019. They went into Baltimore and they upset them in the wild card game. So you never know.
True. Panthers, Dolphins. I think that the Dolphins are going to win this, but I wouldn't be surprised if Bryce Young shows that he's matured a little bit as a passer.
I agree with that. I think Dolphins, it's going to be different now that they have Mostert as their running back one this week with the injury. So I think they're still going to steamroll, though, because just how many skilled players they have. So that's what I got in Miami Heat and everything.
Yeah. Saints, Texans.
This could go either way.
I have Texans on this. That's just because I have CJ Stroud in fantasy. But
CJ's played incredibly well.
Yeah, honestly, I think if CJ shows some of the flashes he's shown in the other games, I think they win this. I think if CJ plays like he did last week, it's going to be close, or the Saints are going to have it. Derek Carr, especially when I think he's still injured. He's definitely not 100%.
Yeah,
I think
last week.
I think obviously Olave and Thomas are good. Kamara is all right. He's not the same running back, but I think that it could go. I think that the Texans are more likely to win this one.
Yeah.
Commanders, Falcons.
Atlanta.
I have Commanders because I personally like Sam Howell.
Wow.
I like Sam Howell.
After losing to the Bears by 20 points last week,
I absolutely have him over. I don't know. I'm just feeling it.
I got Atlanta at home, dude.
I don't trust Desmond Ridder. I think he's going to have a bad game, and then he's going to... Because the Commanders have such good pressure rate.
Well, the shade that you're throwing at the Dirty Birds there.
No, I don't have an issue. I think the Falcons are a good team. But I think that with how good... Because the Commanders have some of the highest pressure rates and success rates. I think they're going to run all over him. Because he really is not a mature passer. Okay, Colts, Jaguars.
Yep.
No Anthony Richardson. It's not going to be close. Seahawks, Bengals. I have the Seahawks.
I do too. I think Seattle with the upset.
I think Joe Burrow showed that he can still play well, but I think his calf might nag him again.
Yep, I agree.
I wouldn't be surprised. It could go either way, though. Vikings, Bears. As much as I hate Justin Fields, I don't see the defense holding up against him. They're terrible at running, stopping running, and not great at stopping passing.
This is gonna be a terrible game.
It really will be. It's just gonna be who gets
Justin Jefferson is on IR.
I don't know. Jordan Addison is still all right. I'm definitely playing Madison this week though.
I don't know. This could go either way.
I think Madison will go crazy personally.
So I don't know what's gonna happen here.
Okay, yeah. 49ers Browns.
49ers.
I love the Browns. I think they're a really good team this year. But 49ers, they're just too strong.
Mm-hmm.
Patriots Raiders. Here's the thing: if the Patriots show the absolute heap of garbage they've shown the last 2 weeks, Raiders easily. But I think that if the Patriots bring it back together and even show a decent performance, I think it'll be close. I wouldn't be surprised if it's something like the Packers game we had this week, maybe like 20-17, 17-13, could go either way.
They said that they were going to start over after everything that happened. I think the Raiders are just a bad football team like the Patriots are this year. I think Belichick could actually coach them to a win, and I think there's some added motivation going in there after what happened last year. And then you're also going up against Jacoby Myers, who made that atrocious play.
Question is, do we try to win this or do we tank?
I think it's too early to tank, and I don't think that's Belichick's strategy.
Sure. Lions Bucks, I have Lions, but I think the Bucks could be a sleeper upset.
I agree.
Yeah, Cardinals Rams. I have the Rams. I love the Cardinals. I think they've been very good this year, but I see the Rams just outscoring them. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a high scoring game like 30-23, 27-23.
Yeah.
Because the Cardinals offense is actually pretty solid this year.
I got the Rams in this one. I don't know that it'll be a blowout.
Actually, James Conner is injured, so that's gonna hurt them a little bit.
Yeah. Eagles, Jets.
Defensive game.
Yeah, well, the other thing is that the Eagles have never lost to the Jets ever in the history of the NFL, which is a very mind-blowing
Have the Pats ever
statistic.
lost? I don't think they have. Tom definitely hasn't.
What?
I don't think the Pats have ever lost to the Jets. What? We didn't lose to the Jets. We beat them.
Yeah, we've lost to the Jets. I remember losing to the Jets.
When? Was it last year?
Not in recent memory, but when you play them twice a year over the course of 20 years, you lose some games.
And also,
they lost a playoff game in like 2010.
Yeah. And we probably lost them when they had Joe Namath. Let's be real.
They lost to last time they lost to him was in 2015 when they had Fitzpatrick. They lost to them in an overtime game with a controversial coin flip at MetLife.
I'm almost sure that Tom has never lost to the Jets though. I think he's cooked them every time. I swear.
Tom Brady has lost to the Jets.
I don't think
he's got a great. That's a dumb statement. That's the dumbest statement you've ever made on this podcast. I hope you know that.
I don't know.
Here we go, guys.
Okay, yeah. So maybe this. Okay. Oh, he's lost 7 times.
Yep.
No. Okay, so
what are you talking about?
We're gonna ignore that. Okay, we are not. We're just.
He's 30-7 against them. He's got a great win percentage.
We're just gonna wipe that from our minds. All right. Okay. I don't know. I saw something on the Instagram reel saying Tom Brady owns the Jets. I know he owns the Jets, and I was like, you know what? It just came up on my mind. I'm like, you know what? I don't think he's lost to them. Drew, you know I haven't been watching football for more than a couple of years. I don't know this stuff.
Okay, then don't act like you do.
Okay, that's a good point. I never said I do.
Okay.
I know.
I'm pretty sure he's never lost to the Jets.
I don't know. I said I was pretty sure. Drew, I know the recent stuff. I don't know. Okay, we're going to ignore that. Go past that. I have Eagles.
Yep. All right, Buffalo at home against the Giants.
Giants overline is terrible. Mm-hmm. Daniel Jones is not showing he's worth $40 million. Bills destroyed.
Yep. I think the Cowboys have a nice bounce back game against the Chargers this week.
I think they shut down Herbert. I think it's probably gonna be like something like 20-12, because the Cowboys' offense honestly isn't that great this year. But I don't see Herbert scoring much.
I think 24-20 or something like that.
You think so?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the Cowboys are gonna shut him down harder, but it could go high scoring too.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I think that's it, right?
All right, man. We got one coming up next week, but it's we're getting further into the season. It's been fun. I've enjoyed it, and hopefully you guys have too. So remember, like, subscribe, comment. Everything helps us out. Appreciate it.
Comment that Tom Brady's never lost
Oh
to the
my
Jets.
God.